Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome to This is Football. Welcome to another Liverpool stream. Ladies and gentlemen, today it's not a transfer show, it's not a how we can rebuild show, it's not a what Liverpool look like in the future show. Today's show is all about our ownership group, Fenway Sports Group. It's about these owners. We all saw the video, I'm sure, on Twitter where we're kind of described as customers, not real fans, to be honest with you, which isn't really the relationship a football club and a fan base should have. We're here to talk about if there's any plans in the future for any FSG out planes to be flying over Anfield. We're here to kind of talk about spend and the money and all of that good stuff. So today there are so many important topics. And we're even going to touch on Curtis Jones. So everyone watching this right now or on the replay, because I know a whole lot of you guys like to watch this on the replay, please don't forget to slap the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so. I don't want to keep saying it throughout the show because we're going to have some pretty intense debates. We're going to have some pretty intense arguments. We're going to be talking about this football club seriously. So I don't want to keep interrupting you to say like and subscribe. So from now, everyone just slap that like button, subscribe. YouTube's telling me you're sharing the videos at record rates as well. So continue to hit that share button, share it on your Facebook, share it everywhere, So let's get into it. And listen, instead of me being here by myself for an hour, I told this guy off the screen, I was like, this is the FSG Out A list. Only thing we're missing is Colwill Red, big up John O'Sullivan. But unfortunately, he doesn't do YouTube. If he did YouTube, then I think he'd be the perfect guest for today's show. But we're here. And of course, who else than the pilot of the FSG Out plane? The absolute pilot. There are rumors that he himself took the plane, put the letters on it, and flew it over Anfield himself. Joining us on the channel is Curtis Jones's biggest fan and big FSG outer, man like Kurdish. How you doing, bro?
Papa, it's good to be back, man. It's been a long time. I feel like I've missed home. So when you sent me the invitation today, I said, "Hey, I'm happy to be home." I do find it though that is interesting. I'm only ever here if it's therapy or if we're talking FSG out. I can talk tactics with some man. Bring me on for the tactics show next time.
Let me expose this guy real quick because see, I don't like when someone blame me like this. Last two times I asked this guy on was when we signed Szoboszlai and when we signed McAllister, and he gave me a different excuse every time. What am I meant to do? Am I meant to what can I do? Okay, there is nothing I can do. This guy always busy, man. This guy always busy. I don't know what kind of business he's running, but let's not expose him. I would confirm he actually has one of those guys. That's all I'm gonna say. So all I'm gonna say is I'm sure
Why
he has
do you
one of
have
those.
one? Why do you have one?
Hey, I just use it as props. I don't use it. See, it's not working. Yeah, see, it's not working. It's off. Anyway, make sure the guys are liking, man. Make sure the guys are subscribing. Let's get into it. Before we actually get into FSG, because that's kind of gonna be the, the bulk of the show. I just want to kind of get it out the way first, so we could just deal with it first and foremost, and just keep it stepping. Mr. Kurdish Ball 93. Let your apologies be as loud as your disrespect. Curtis Jones was the man of the match of the Under-21 Euros final. You see the prop on Liverpool Twitter. What are you saying, bro?
I think it's nice that he's found his level. I think it's nice to see him shine. I think it's nice to see him actually look like a football player. And it's nice because his level is under 21 football. So actually it's great. I understand all the compliments, I understand all these things, but this is the first time he's looked good in his career. It's playing under 21 football. So there's a reason for that, Hussam, because that's his level. That's his level. His level isn't a Premier League winning champions team. It's not a Champions League team. Curtis Jones is playing very well at an under 21 tournament. He's been in the senior team for 3 fucking years, Hussam. What do we mean he's doing well under 21? Kids his age are in the first team. Pedri and Gavi are in the first team at Spain, killing it. Phil Foden is in the English starting lineup, killing it. Bukayo Saka is only a year older than him. He's in the starting lineup for England, killing it. So what am I doing supposed to be here and talking about Curtis Jones, the return? He's looked good. He's looked good in a team where he's had more experience than most of them players playing at a top level. If Curtis Jones didn't perform in this tournament, oh, why is he a footballer? 3 years with a senior team, and now you're giving me a few good games. You know what we doing? He's under 21 level. This is Curtis Jones, and this is Sam. This is who I'm supposed to go into next season with, because I'm here to talk about the midfield options. Because I'm going to tell you something. You have 3 midfielders you can rely on next season, because Curtis Jones isn't one of them. And if you're going to tell me Curtis Jones is going to be one of them, let me tell you, you've got no evidence of that. What you do have evidence of is Curtis Jones is a very good player at under 21. That's tangible evidence. However, as I said, I expect him to be. He's been around the senior team for 3 years. Kids his age are playing for the first team at England, in Spain, in Italy, wherever you look. 21 isn't a young age anymore, Hussam. He's not a baby anymore that, oh, he's standing out under 21. He should be the shining light in that team. He's a full-grown man. Angel Gomez was the better performer than him throughout the tournament, the kid from United, and he's a baby. He's a baby. So that's, if you want to stand out, that's who we should be complimenting. We shouldn't be complimenting the kid who's been around a senior team for 3 years and is now looking a part of the under 21. But of course, nobody wants to hear that because it's doom and gloom. Nobody wants to hear the reality of it. What we want to do is put this fugazi over our eyes and say, oh, everything is okay. And then when everything falls apart, we start to go, oh, but this is the fault and this is the fault. But you guys are the ones that told me Curtis Jones is this and this and this. Everybody wants to always look over the evidence and work on the recent form. Do you know what they say, Hussam, when a player plays bad? They say, form is temporary, class is forever. That works the other way as well. Form is temporary, shit is shit. You do like, it works the other way as well. You know what I'm saying, bro? People always think, oh, it's form is temporary. You know, Curtis Jones is shit. He's having a good patch of form. Like he'll go back to being shit. Tom Cleverley, when he broke through, one of the best under 21 players, played for Manchester United, went on to be, his ceiling was Watford. This is what we're talking about. They seem to think form is temporary, class is forever, is just for when things go bad. No, form is temporary, shit is shit as well. Quote that. Go get it as a famous quote because it's a fact here. So that's my thoughts on Curtis Jones. Look, big up him. He had a good tournament. But it's the most I expect from a guy who's been around a senior team for 3 years, man. I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. I'm not gonna...
And you know, I want to just carry on with what Kurdish is saying. Before I do that, big up to you, Mihaili. I think that's how it's pronounced. Big up to all the Hungarians who've been watching us recently. Szoboszlai is definitely good enough for Liverpool. We're going to tell you why later on. Stay tuned, Mihaili. But let me just put up a super chat on this. You know, Peyrad, first of all, I'm going to say thank you for the super chat as in the money, and then I'm gonna say thank you for the message inside it, because I feel like I want to kiss you for this message. Like I just want to go like, wow, thank you so much for someone with a brain. I'm gonna keep this up on the screen just because I'm just, you know, I'm kind of in a call out mood right now, so I'm just gonna say it as it is. The Curtis Jones thing is ridiculous. He's been cack for 3 years. He's now showing he might have sometimes in his locker, but something in his locker. Sorry, but this idea he's always been brilliant is utter bollocks. Top red numpties. Peyrad, thank you for the super chat, because it's the most fact super chat like in a long time. Let me just say this, Mr. Peyrad and everyone. I'm gonna keep this up on the screen because it represents reality. You know who I feel like calling out today? Graham Kelly. That's who I feel like calling out today. Oh my God, if his name was Curtis Jonesinho, we'd sign him for 50 million from Porto and you'd all be wanking over him, blah, 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 blah. No. And we don't have an agenda against Scousers, because my favorite player is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Last I checked, he wasn't born in Indonesia. He's Scouse born and bred. But because he's Scouse with quality, no one's complaining. Hell, if you think we have a problem with players from the academy, hear the way me and Kurdish and many others speak on Bajcetic, on youngsters that actually do have potential. Bajcetic showed me more in 2 football games than Curtis before this last 10 games his entire career. You want the reality? That's the reality. You know who also banged in under 20 tournaments? Let me give you examples of people who banged in under 20. Ryan Brewster, Josh McCachran from Chelsea. Chelsea fans, that's gonna ring a bell. Dominic Solanke. Dominic Solanke banged at a World Cup under 21 tournament or under 17 or under 18 or under whatever. Curtis Jones is a solid rotation piece, nothing more, nothing less. Also, I've been consistent this whole time. I didn't watch the under 21s for Kefren Thuram. I didn't watch the under 21s for Manu Kone. I didn't watch the under 21s for anyone because the under 21s is not a representative of the grown man game. It matters what you do in the grown man game. Let me add a further name. Eddie Nketiah is the record goal scorer, I swear, for the England under 21s. Record goal scorer. Arsenal fans already have had enough of him. He's played like 2-3 months. They've had enough of him. I have no problem saying Curtis Jones should be sixth choice. After Szoboszlai, after McAllister, after a DM, Fabinho, Thiago. Okay, place him as the sixth choice. I have no problem. But don't come up here and start asking me for apologies and all of this. I'm not going to apologize after no damn under 21 tournament. Come ask for apologies when he performs well consistently for Liverpool Football Club, not for a run of 10 games at the end of the season when we're playing for nothing. And by the way, the goal even just deflected off his ass. I don't know what we're trying to I don't know what we're doing here. Like acting like I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. People are just going over the top.
And if
the top.
If you actually watch the game in the first 45 minutes, he was actually a big problem to that England team. If you actually analyze it tactically, he was continuously losing the ball. He was continually getting dispersed. He was getting pressed quite high, and he couldn't keep off the hold of the ball. In the second half, he got a bit more space because England had a bit more time on the counter, and he actually had a bit more time to maneuver. But in the first half, he was having a poor game. Yes, the goal he scored, but he was poor in that first half. If you just watch him tactically, he was well out of place in that first 45 minutes.
And you know what it is, Kurdish? You know what makes me laugh with this whole situation? Like, people are acting like Curtis Jones just broke through this season. I'm so glad you mentioned it earlier on. The guy's been, bro, you know the goal he scored against Everton in the FA Cup, wasn't that COVID year? Wasn't that COVID? COVID has now reached its like 500th different variant.
It doesn't even exist anymore, bro.
Yeah, it's being like classified as regular flu. That's how long ago that was. Like, people are like, if I tell Kurdish I have COVID, God forbid, I hope no one here gets any disease. He'd be like, okay, and like, just life carries on.
Well.
If I told him that 4 years ago, he'd have been like, oh, be careful. Make sure you drink plenty of orange juice. Life has changed, bro. That's how long ago that was. In the words of Jose Mourinho, there is the young and then there is the young. He said that to describe Marcus Rashford. If you're a football player who played 900 million times, obviously I'm just exaggerating because people take things too literal, then you're no longer a youngster. You've had your opportunity multiple times.
He's played
This time,
games.
this season, his opportunity in the last 10 games, okay, you did well. But my problem is, me and Kurdish can even come here and say you did well. But our problem is, why do people go over the top? Why do you start come telling me about disrespect and apologies and all this?
Sam, you have a scientific background, right? If you go to any chemical engineering, big up my brother. If you go to any scientist in this world and you say, let's do an experiment, but to make my conclusion, I'm going to use a sample size of 10 tests out of 94. They'll just look at you and say, what? There's no validity. There's no, it's not a genuine study.
They'll throw that test in the dustbin.
They'll throw the test in the bin. There is no way in this world where you can tell me to choose 10 games out of 94 to make a judgment and expect it to be genuine. No, you will get laughed at by in any environment. In any way, you have to do tests multiple times, and once we see the sample size continuously produce, then we can start to slowly say, actually, you may have something. But right now, there is still nothing to indicate that you have given me anything. The one thing that people want to say to me is, you've done well in an under 21 tournament. As I said, that is the bare minimum for somebody who's been in the squad for 3 years. The bare minimum, Hussam. I'm talking if you're not standing out in an under 21 tournament after playing for Liverpool for 3 years, the first team, there is serious questions about how you've made it as a professional footballer. Like you're going up against babies. You're going up against kids that play in the reserves a lot of the time. Like what we doing here? What? Again, I get it though, Hussam. It's a fan base that is looking and is desperate for something positive after a season of negativity, after a season of everything they thought would happen going against them, after a season of telling people we don't need signings, we have Curtis Jones, and then actually being proven correct that Curtis Jones isn't good enough and that you did need signings. They're now seeing a little bit of positivity, and that's all it is. It's hungry people. Big up G, he just said it. The fan base is starved. We are starving. And actually, what I'm going to explain to you soon when we talk about this, I'm worried. I am seriously worried about Liverpool. But yeah, man, let's continue.
Yeah, I do want to get into it now because I think you're touching there on the stuff we're actually worried about, not some guy who plays well once every 5 years. Big up to you, Peyrad, though. I made sure I kept that super chat on the screen because it's just so much facts. Like honestly, man. Big up to Andrew, my guy, who says the only two Liverpool fans I listen to. Big up Kurdish and Hussam. Logical, sensible, and always honest about their own club, and not afraid of communist Merseyside. I can't lie to you. Communist Merseyside is becoming a little bit way less communist now. I'm seeing, I don't know if Kurdish is noticing, but I'm seeing more and more Scousers becoming FSG out. And I love the fact that the tide is turning. I'm so in love with that idea. Oh Lord, come on, come on. We're like 50% away.
Hussam, they've snookered themselves. They admitted defeat. I think people seem to Why is everyone shocked that I have hair, by the way, in the comment section? I've always had hair. I've always had hair. It's a very weird thing. I'm looking at the comments, and every 5 seconds, someone just put Kurdish has hair. Kurdish, just because I wear a hat.
You wear a hat all the time.
Yeah, I wear a hat all the time. But I think people don't seem to understand. Actually, Dominic is a fantastic signing. I love the player. But with the Dominic signing, FSG admitted a lot of things. So let's get into it. Where should we start?
I do want to get into it now in a second because we are here to talk about FSG. But listen, I just wanted to get the Curtis thing out the way so we could just get it out the way and we actually could talk about the hefty meal. We had our appetizer, you get me. Big up to Gary Paul who says Kurdish with a W because Kurdish is a W merchant, except when it comes to Salah. Kurdish, we need an FSG out plane again. Gary, thank you for the super chat and stay tuned because we are going to discuss that. Me and Kurdish are, and I don't want to reveal a lot right now until we get to that segment, but I told Kurdish, let's fly a plane in the first game of the season regardless. Like, even if we sign Mbappe, like, let's just fly a plane over Antwerp because I think we need to do that. But stay tuned, Gary, because we're going to reveal it all. And speaking of, everyone in the comments, big up to Peyrad, big up to Winter Surfer, big up to Gary. Guys, there's 300 people here. I told you I don't want to keep stopping the show to say it, but we can't have 300 people here. We ain't even on 150 likes yet. Come on, 50% minimum. We need that Erling Haaland conversion rate right now. Slap that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so, because we've got a lot to talk about. And you don't want me to interrupt one of Kurdish's great monologues just to say like and subscribe. So just hit that like button. It's free. Like a video. Subscribe. No. Big up Peyrad, big up Surfer, big up Gaza. And Mr. Kurdish, it's time, Habibi. It's time to talk about it. There's no need to prolong this anymore. The FSG out movement. Speaking of, by the way, we signed Szoboszlai. You bedwetting FIFA virgin. Let your apologies be as loud as your disrespect, Kurdish.
So I want to take the time out and I want to thank our owners for doing the absolute bare fucking minimum after a season that we just had. By the way, that's the first part, because I'm hearing a lot of, oh, the FSG are a lot of quiet now. We're quiet because you've signed the midfielders that a blind man could tell you this team needed. Hussam, I could bring a blind man and just explain the game to him, and he will turn around and say to me, yeah, that needs 2-3 midfielders. So first and foremost, let's not do any praise for the absolute bare minimum. That's the first part. So I'm not going to really go on to that too much because I'm not impressed.
But what do you think of that argument to begin with? That whole like, Where are you now? Apologize, 60 million on Szoboszlai. Like, what are you
I'm
saying?
right here. I'm fucking right here. That's where I am. I'm right here, and I'm telling you, you're fucking stupid. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Tell me why.
Because first and foremost, the argument's stupid. The second argument, and we're going to go into these in points, is, and G said it, we still need midfielders. That's a combo I'm going to get into, man. And let me tell you that now. The second point is your manager came out and publicly told the world he wants all his signings by pre-season. Pre-season is tomorrow, my guy. Some of the players are back today. You know, we're there now, and you are nowhere near ready. Oh, no. Oh
Wait,
yeah,
did Kurdish call Grizz out or did Grizz call
I
Kurdish?
called him out. You know me. Come on,
Oh, he's
Sam.
never gonna have you on.
You
He's
know,
never
he
gonna.
said he would, and then he never got in contact. I think
Yeah,
he found
he
out my
never will.
content. I think he found
Bruno,
out my.
by the way, I swear I heard Bruno, this Bruno da Cruz, I heard you got slandered over there. Let us know what happened. I like this YouTube drama. Go on, Curtis, go on. Sorry.
Um, so they've not even met Klopp standards of actually getting players in time. So there is that element of actually, okay, we're giving them praise, but they've actually still failed the manager. Not even from the signing perspective, because we all knew what Klopp wanted, and they said you have to have yes or no. But actually, because of the fact that he wanted to play in preseason, so that's failed as well. And then the third part, that this is the part that I enjoy the most. I call this being so fucking idiotic that you're not aware of yourself and your surroundings and your environment, and being so ego driven by trying to prove a point, you're not realizing that you're scoring own goals. So when this all happened, we all saw the big hurrah around, oh, we've signed Dominic, the bedwetters are going to be quiet and they're going to be quite good. When we signed Dominic, FSG did everything that everyone praises them for. They went against. They went against. So everything that we talk about, and you tell us to shut up when we ask for transfers about the club, we don't take out loans, we don't put the club in debt, so on, so on. Well, guess what they did to sign Dominic, Sam? They bought £60 million in externally. That was not their own money. That was not the club's money. It's either an investment, which we don't know about, could be a good way, which will tell you actually they're slowly thinking about leaving out bit by bit, which is great,
Mm-hmm.
or it's a loan that they've took. It's a loan that they've took, and they've took it on Liverpool Football Club. So fundamentally, you are here saying, oh, FSG out, FSG and bedwetters and all these things. However, what you don't realize is by this Dominic signing, FSG have just admitted everything that we've been saying, which is that they can't compete. Because what they've had to do, Hussam, is they've had to go and pull in help externally. So everything that FSG get praised for, which is that they never go external for help, everything is done organically, everything is self-sustaining. They have just showed you, for us to be able to sign two midfielders and actually have the capabilities of rebuilding a team, we have to go externally. So that tells you there is no other clear way for them to come out and say, we ourselves, we don't have the funds to do this anymore. And the club itself and our model, unfortunately, isn't making any money or enough money for us to continue growing the way we need this club to operate. So what we can do is hire externally. So by that money, they've snookered themselves. I don't think people quite comprehend this Dominic signing because it's such a good signing. They've not actually looked at what it means for the owners.
Mm-hmm.
For once, the owners have come out themselves and said, we can't do this. And it's not just them coming out saying we can't do this and then getting no buyers. The physical proof is there, is that they've had to go to an external resource to be able to make this signing. And do you know what the scary thing about that, Hussam, is? You're not even 50% through your rebuild and they're already going to external resources. There's going to be a point where that external resource says no. It says no. It says no, 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 no. What's in it for me? You know? Or do we just keep getting loans? Do we just keep getting loans now? Because if we're keeping getting loans, then are we the Glazers? Are we run by the Glazers? Is that what we are all of a sudden? So I need to understand. I need to understand by people who always say this. Oh, where are the bedwetters? I'm here. I'm asking you the question. Any of you, please contact me directly. Kurdish Ball 93 on Twitter. If you don't want to contact me directly, contact Sam and we can have this conversation. I need to understand what happens next because they've had to break their mold and they've had to bring debt onto the club which I have no issue with, by the way, because I understand how certain things work. But you're the ones that told
That
us.
is tax free. That's
No,
all
no,
you
no, no,
need
no.
to say.
No,
That's
but they
all you
told
need to
us we
say.
can't have debt. Hussam, they told us
True.
we can't have debt. So
True.
since we can't have debt, we need to understand what happens next here, because they have had to go external. So do they continue going external every window, or do they just say, actually, we understand we've made a big, big profit here, and we're going to take that money and we're going to sell the club on. The reason for that is because we can't compete. We've shown you we can't compete. Or are we just going to pretend everything didn't happen? Because I think that's what the approach seems to be by, and I don't like using this word, but by that side of the fan base, the top press, that other side. It's just almost like this never happened. We just, oh, FSG just signed Dominic, the loan never happened, or the third party never happened. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. By the way, the comment saying you don't understand nothing about football finance, I do. I have no issue with the debt coming on, because, like I say, I do understand it. My point here is they tell us that we can't have debt, because let me tell you, this to me is what needed to happen when we were top of the league in January and we bought in Kabak and Davis, because they didn't want to break the model. What should have happened is you break the model on odd occasions, to Sam, whilst you're at the top, to maintain staying at the top. But they were arrogant enough to not break the model. We finished that season in third, only in the Champions League, and then they went again and rolled the dice and rolled the dice. So this is where we go back to it now. They are massively at a point where they're really in trouble, because, as I said, they have now admitted to the world, we need third-party help. We need external resources to be able to compete in this market. And by the way, Hussam, they've not competed in the market. I want to make that very clear. They think they have, but they haven't. Let's call a spade a spade. McAllister's had one good season at the top level. One good season. Let's be honest. He's a good player, but he's had one good season. And Dominic is as good as he is, Sam. He's not ready made. He's a 22-year-old baby. He is that step just before ready made, where you think, okay, you are ready to take that step. But there is still a big gamble there. So that leads us to the next point. And I saw this tweet the other day, and this is where I really worry. And I don't know if G is in the chat, because we talk about midfielders, but there's 9 midfielders at Liverpool. How many do you think you can?
James
How many?
Pearce.
No, it was someone else. But how many do you think you can trust, Sam? So
Oh,
we've got
I know
9
exactly what
midfielders.
you're talking about. I know
But tell
exactly.
me, how many midfielders do you trust
Because
out
I
of the
saw you
9?
call out that article as well, and I know, and I knew that me and you were just as mad at that article. I
Well,
knew
well,
for a fact. Because you know
let's
all I did, you know what all I did was, Kurdish? I just went back to last summer. Let's count the
yeah,
forget Szoboszlai McAllister. Let's go back to last summer. Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson, Elliot, Jones, Bacetic, Keita, Ox, Arthur Melo. Hey, guess what? We had 9 midfielders too. So why the fuck did we finish 5th? Can someone tell me? Since it's all about the 9 midfielders.
it's,
It's always been about quality over quantity. The one example I always tell my comments, Kurdish, and I'm sure you'd agree with this, I would happily trade 5 of those options just for Gundogan,
100%.
just alone. Like just one guy equal 5
But
because it's about
Hussam,
quality.
it's a fallacy. Let's break it down. It's a fallacy, because we've got 9 midfielders. I'm going
Mhm.
to eliminate. I'm going to let's do it. In your mind, in your eyes, who are you confident on in the 9 midfielders?
I'm confident on Szoboszlai.
Okay.
I'm confident on McAllister because I think
Okay.
he's like the genie replacement from 2 years later.
hmm
Currently, or with Lavia, for example.
Currently.
Currently, I'd say I'm confident in Thiago.
Okay.
Fabinho is iffy. Curtis Jones is iffy. Elliot
Okay.
ain't a midfielder.
Okay.
Henderson, I'd rather see you in
So,
midfield.
okay.
But Cetic still needs to develop.
So you gave me 3 that you're confident on.
Yes.
So let's
Yes.
break it down, and I've approached it a little bit differently.
Those
So
3, like, I'd go to war with,
yeah.
basically.
So I've got a little bit different. So I've got Bajetic, he's a baby. You can't rely on him for a season. So that to me
100%.
is instantly eliminated. Instantly. Jones, whether he's had good form, you cannot tell me you're going to trust Curtis Jones to come in a big game if needed,
Never.
or to play. Just injury record also. So there's 2 eliminated already. So you're down to 7 midfielders already, my friend. So next to that, you've got Jordan Henderson.
I
Jordan
prefer to
Henderson,
not speak.
there we go. So there's another one gone.
Don't need
You
to even elaborate.
But just listen, just listen. You've then got Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott is not a midfielder. We saw that last year. There is no one in this world who can tell you Harvey Elliott is a midfielder. So all of a sudden, 4 out of 9 is gone. Just bear with me. Just bear with me.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Thiago, for me, have got half ready just because of his injury record. So I've got half a tick. So I've got half a midfielder. Fabinho, we don't know. We're going into unknown territory. But I'm going to give him a tick because of what he's done in the past. But we've seen what happened last year. That it's unknown territory. So I've got 1.5 midfielders. Szoboszlai and McAllister. Dominic and McAllister. Sam have got 3.5 midfielders going into next season. The last person outstanding is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Very good footballer, my favourite, one of the best. We're still talking about an experiment, whether we like that or not. It could work out. It could become amazing. It's still an experiment. So when I'm looking at that and I'm eliminating, I've got 3.5 midfielders going into next season, Sam. Out of the 3.5, let's call honestly, one of them we're hoping refines his form. If he plays anything like last year, we're fucked. That's Fabinho. The half is Thiago. How much we can trust on him, that's a different situation. Dominic and McAllister, as I said, Dominic is top level, but there is still a gamble. And McAllister, one season at the top, there is still a level of gamble. So when I sit there and say, okay, next season I'm going in confidently with 3 midfielders, that's me being hopeful and hoping that 2 of the new signings both hit it off. Sam, it's very rare where 2 new signings come into a team and both instantly click. You do realize that, especially in the same position in midfield. So it's very rare where they both find the chemistry and build that chemistry up and start to work together. But I'm going to be kind and say that's going to happen. I'm going to say Fabinho refines his form. So I'm going into next season with 3.5 midfielders, right? One of them is going to get injured for a period of time. I know that. Jordan Henderson's going to come in. Is Jordan Henderson going to cover? Harvey Elliott is going to cover in midfield. Curtis Jones is going to cover in midfield.
This Henderson thing I can't even do anymore.
But this is what I'm saying. So we're sitting here and we're saying we should praise FSG. But when I look at the options and I actually break the options down, we are so fucking far off in midfield still. We still don't have an out-and-out right-sided midfielder. We still don't have a full-out dual winner. We don't have a dual winner. We are at the moment, and even if we sign Lavia, we're still massively dependent on Fabinho refining his form. Because actually, even if Lavia comes in at 19, he's not going to be playing most games. He's not going to do that, Hussam. Let's call a spade a spade. So when I'm looking at that across the board, 80% of anything good is going to rely on Fabinho refining his form. If Fabinho doesn't refine his form, and the form that was incredible, Sam, we're fucked. We're fucked. Yeah, people will talk about we'll have more controlling games. Yeah, we had issues with control last year. What was our biggest problem? We were getting cut on the transition every time, sliced open every single time, like a watermelon in the summer, sliced open, and that's the midfield you're giving me.
That's such a Middle Eastern line as well.
But I'm supposed to be happy, Hussam, and this is what I'm saying. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, I get called negative a lot, and I appreciate it because lately I am a bit of a grim reaper, and I am. But when I'm looking at this and I'm breaking it down and I'm saying, okay, Fabinho might not refine this form. What happens if Fabinho doesn't refine this form? All of a sudden,
we're screwed.
You've got a right-sided midfielder, a right-sided attacking midfielder in Dominic. You've got a controller in McAllister.
Yep.
You don't have a dual winner in that team. Do you know who becomes your dual winner? Jordan Henderson, who pulled out of a duel against Shrewsbury Hall last year. You don't have somebody in there that you can comfortably say when somebody is coming in or we're being transitioned, he's going to go in and win the duel. There isn't a midfielder. There isn't. And I'm losing my mind with it because nobody seems to be talking about it because everyone's so happy that we've signed these 2 boys. And by the way, these 2 boys are very good players and with a lot of potential. But nobody's actually sitting down and talking about the fact that you've got Jordan Henderson, who's well done. You've got Harvey Elliott, who's not a midfielder. You've got Curtis Jones, who you can't trust. You've got Thiago, who, if you're lucky, you might get some games out of. The situation is still as bleak as it was last year because There you go. And the situation is just as bleak, my bro. Like
Oh God.
we laugh, but I don't think people quite comprehend our situation in midfield still, bro. Man, like
I want to tell you my honest opinion on it, and just kind of carry on what you're saying. Um, with this whole midfield situation, this is what Joe's saying. Liverpool's midfield is still poor. Take out the departures and the junior players, we are still 4 players short in midfield. We have seen all the weakness in the team, and
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
Joe, that's another spot on super chat. I want to say thank you to. Um, you know what it is with this whole midfield situation? James Redmond, who's by the way Scouse and FSG out, so you can't get annoyed that it's two foreigners speaking, said essentially what FSG have done is as follows. They've let you starve for 10 days, and then they come in there in the 11th day, and they give you a Big Mac, and you're supposed to sit there and go like, thank you for the Big Mac. But people are failing to recognize that they're the reason why we're starving like this to begin with. They're the reason why we are in this position to begin with. It's not some sort of secret, crazy reason. This is the reason why we're here anyway. Keita, Ox, Milner, Henderson's essentially unplayable. Curtis, I'm not gonna rely on a youngster. Elliot isn't a midfielder. As Kurdish just analyzed the entire midfield. You look at this current team, and you know for a fact we still need more. I think with Lavia, it automatically elevates us to a higher level. Just because in terms of he's the guy that we need currently as an ADM, because it makes sense. Because what makes sense is a DM, a forward line player in Szoboszlai, and a someone who controls the game in McAllister. That's what makes sense. We're just saying logically here from a football perspective. And similarly to Curtis Jones, funnily enough, which is why we started with him this show. People come in here after we sign one good player, after we pay one like good lump of money, and come start asking for apologies. Where's the FSG out crowd? We are here. I made an FSG out video the day after we signed Szoboszlai directly. Because that move, you signing Szoboszlai is not going to change that you are the reason why I'm here to begin with. You're literally the reason why I'm here. Szoboszlai and McAllister were both release clauses. That's another thing. They were both release clauses.
We operate in a very specific market because we can't operate in the market completely. People forget this. Like, and again, it seems to get glossed over. Sam, I don't know how the saying goes in Arabic, but in Kurdish we say, if you keep catching fish, at the end there's no more fish left in the pond. There's only so many times you get away with it, brother. There's only so many times. The same way that our analytics was so well ahead, in 2 years' time, people will realize, okay, release clause is at 40 million. No, the market is 100 million, so we're going to make our release clause 100 million. Like, it's only a matter of time, and I don't seem to understand why we keep
60
delaying
million,
this.
by the way, is the 20 million of 10 years ago.
100%, 100%.
That's Kurdish's point. So what happens when
And they've
the
had to go
60
get
becomes
help
the
for
100?
it. And they've had to go and get external help for it because they can't even afford that anymore. They can't even afford that anymore.
And you know what, Kurdish? They played themselves twice with that move. And I'm telling you why they played themselves. I said this. I know Vagabond, by the way, is a big supporter of the channel. He's sent in super chats. He's always shown us love and support in the comments. But Vagabond, football finance ain't that difficult because it's similar to different types of finance. When it comes to debt, the reason why they took out a debt to pay for that transfer is because debt is tax free. It's really not that deep. It's not like some sort of crazy deep reason. Debt is tax free. Because debt is tax free, they don't have to pay taxes or loans on it. They're just gonna pay the money slowly, step by step, as much as they want, because debt is tax free. And there is nothing a bank loves more than giving you a loan. Nothing a bank loves more. And that loan is going to be tax free. And let me make something extra clear. I have no problem with them taking out a loan. I'd rather them take out a 200 million pound loan and let us solve the problems this summer transfer window than us sit on our ass and go like, oh my god, we're self-sustaining. All this self-sustaining talk means nothing at the end of the day because look at where we're at now. Look at where we're at now. But Vagabond, that's the point. You say every team does it, not Liverpool only. We haven't done it. We need to do it.
we want to do
That's
it.
the point, Vagabond. So I'm saying I have no problem with us doing that because want. I'd rather the club be 200 million pounds in debt, but with a proper team, than us sitting here fighting over just everything, just out here fighting over pointless shit. That's the thing. Tom Little, go back to the start of the video. He addressed the Curtis Jones thing. You won't like it. That's the hint. By the way, let me just say this quickly, guys. There's 450 people watching us. We ain't even on 200 likes yet. What are you guys doing?
Come on.
Ya akhi, what is this? Ya akhi, like the video now. Subscribe to the channel. Big up to Joe Cavalier. Big up to Qusay. Big up to Gary. Winter Surfer and Payrad for the super chats. Make sure you're slapping the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're ready to do so. Every single person right now, stop what you're doing. Look at your phone. Hit that like button. Subscribe to This Is Football. We're never on 200 likes yet. It's a free button. Slap that like button, you bozos. We're out here giving you prime FSG Out content. Anyway. Big up to Qusay, who says, it turns out Kurdish has hair. I've always thought that this hat is part of his head. Big up, you two legends. Big up to you, Qusay, man. I can't believe you guys are so shocked Kurdish has hair. It's maybe because of the cap. I can't lie to you guys. It's probably because of the cap.
I don't think I've ever showed my hair on this channel before, ever. So
Yeah,
probably why.
I think you did it on the terrace when you first done your thing. FSG's organization is still based on buy to sell. They have used their tiny budget of 95 million to buy 2 players. FSG have a history of not funding their teams, running as a mediocre organization. But Joe, this is what I want to ask Kurdish now, because before we even get to us flying an FSG out plane, before we get to any of that, there's an even more negative, worse scenario than what we described in the super chat. So before we get into it, as I said, guys, make sure you're liking or subscribing. Don't you dare make me look at this phone. We ain't on 200 likes yet. Yalla, like the video. Big up to Joe, Qusay, Gary, Winter, and Payrad. Here's the thing. Let's do a quick mathematics. So Liverpool Football Club / Fenway Sports Group took out a loan to buy Dominic Szoboszlai. So you're telling me after spending 35 million on Alexis McAllister, we already need to sell players? So was our budget for the summer 35 million?
Yeah.
Was that our budget? Because we took out a loan to pay Szoboszlai. So our budget was 35 million pounds. 35 million is our budget for a whole summer of rebuild.
Do you know why it's not a shocker, Sam? Because after we signed Gakpo, they told us we stretched ourselves by paying 8 million up front. If you remember, when we signed Gakpo, they told us we stretched ourselves. Do you remember?
8 million. 8.
So, and do you know what's interesting?
How does this make sense? How can a big club like Liverpool have a budget of 35 million?
Do you know why it makes sense? No, it makes sense with Sam because, and I don't know all the finances, but I've spoken to a few people and they explain it to me. We paid out a large number of bonuses last year. And the reason why we have no money makes sense is because the model is broken, because the way the model works, because they can't afford to give top players normal salary, what they should do. So if Virgil van Dijk was at Man City, he'd be on 300 probably. Because FSG can't do that, what they do is they go really heavy focused on the bonuses. So as soon as we have a good chance of winning the title and get to finals, they put all the bonuses. So when they pay all the bonuses, do you know where the massive hole in the transfer budget? So whatever way you do, you lose. You either can't keep your best stars because you can't give them the wages, or you pay all the bonuses because they do well, and then you can't actually build on the team. You don't. The model. It's like when you pick up a bag and you fill it up with water and you put a hole in, and whatever way you whichever hole you cover up, there's still water coming out.
There's water coming out anyway.
And Sam, did you notice last season they all told us, all the FSG and told us, it's about the right player. It's about the player. Do you know what now? What this summer is? It's about the player that has a release clause. Just think how crazy that is.
You know what's the funniest part about that, Kurdish, by the way? Let me give you the funniest part. Remember what they told people like me and you? It's because you want these players because they're on FIFA. Isn't McAllister and Szoboszlai the 2 most FIFA signings ever? It's the most FIFA signing you can ever make your entire life.
I don't understand how you can go from we only make the right signings to anybody that's got a release clause. It's almost like saying we have a very specific type to the cheapest option on the market or the one with the specific, and it's come on.
Mota, that's very interesting. Oh, very interesting. I the same way you had a rant on what's his name, that journalist. You had a rant on the guy that you said that it's a face only a mom likes. What's his name,
Ian
bro?
Doyle.
Ian Doyle. I had a 10-minute rant on James Pearce because he wrote the whole "We have 9 midfielders" article. I lost my mind on him, honestly. And you go back. By the way, it's kind of the same cycle now as to where it's getting to the stage where we kind of just know what they're gonna say. Selection here being edgy as per usual. Who exactly confirmed this made up loan rumor? Lol, you guys are funny, fam. FSG 420 spent last 4 windows, 126 in ongoings. By the way, we aren't buy to sell. Kurdish,
No,
talk to selection.
no. And again, this is funny because I spoke with another individual, and he was saying it's all about you guys not wanting FSG to spend money, and people don't realize beyond buy to sell hundreds. That's a big fucking problem. If you have two brains about yourself and you're not just a 14-year-old kid just going FSG out based on emotion, and you're actually an adult and try to understand the things that have gone wrong with our club, which is what we do and talk about, you'll quick realize one of our biggest paining points with Liverpool is for the last 4 or 5 seasons, we've started to let players go for free. We let we let almost 100 million worth of talent leave for free this summer. If you listen to us, we also talk about how the academy has been left behind compared to so many other academies. We talk about how we don't have a loan system because of these owners. We talk about how actually it's so incompetently run that the last time and then the most future that we have maybe Trent out of the academy, and no our academy makes no money. Whilst actually I look at what Chelsea's academy did with Roman, every player was on loan and every player was making money. So the things that you're saying we aren't buy to sell, that's nothing to be proud of. That's nothing to be proud of. Being run incompetently and letting 50 million signings go for free after you've paid them £150, 150 grand in wages for the last 5 years, that's not good. That's not something we should be proud. Oh, we aren't buy to sell. That's not running a football club properly. That's incompetency. Naby Keita, there is no world in Naby Keita that Naby Keita should be leaving for free. That's a 50 million signing who you've been paying 150 grand for 3 to 4, 5 years. That's stupid money that you've
Could
spent.
have easily sold them for 20, no cap.
This is
20
bro.
easy, like that.
Whatever it is, Hussam. So all these things, because somebody said it to me the other day. They said, "Oh, you can't talk about FSG spending. They've spent money without incomings." And I never hear you talk about this. And I said respectfully, I said, "What spaces do you go on?" Because when I'm speaking with Sam, when I'm speaking with certain people on Liverpool spaces, we talk about these things. We talk about why nobody in our academy has been a success since Trent. We talk about why actually our academy
Kurdish,
doesn't.
after we beat United 7-0, we did an FSG out video, me and you, the next day.
This is, and we
Next
talk
day.
about these things,
Are you
and
mad?
people seem to think it's all about how much money we spent. No, the incompetency runs from the top to the fucking bottom. That academy is shocking for Liverpool. There is no system to actually get the best out of these players. That there is so many things wrong at this club, and I think last season highlighted that. But because we've had a good start to the window, people have just forgotten everything, Sam. Just like, oh, everything's fine again. Actually, no. Even if we win the league this year, it still doesn't hide the fact that the academy is shit. It still doesn't hide the fact that we don't have a system for players that get old. It still doesn't hide the fact that we let £100 million worth of talent leave for free. These are incompetencies in the background. It's not just about money, money, money. Money is great, of course, but these are the things in the background that are happening, and these are the things that make a football club successful. You make money, great, but it's your bread and butter. I don't know if anybody plays Balloons Tower
Chelsea
Defense.
could make, by the way, if they sell Colwill, that's already 70 million
It's crazy,
pounds just from an academy player.
crazy. Chelsea's
Are you mad?
academy under Roman, bro. I don't know if
If I
anyone's
sell
ever.
my entire academy players, I don't make 80 million. If I sell them all 25 academy
You're not
players, if I
making
sell them
30.
tomorrow,
You're
I
not
don't make
making
80 million.
30. You're not making
I'm not.
30. You're not making 30,
It's
bro.
gonna
It's
be Bacchetic and a couple of guys I make money on. The
that's it.
rest,
That's it. That's it. What I've got Tom Little in the academy playing right wing. That's about it.
Ben
Who,
Doak,
who,
big up Ben
yeah,
Doak,
yeah,
man.
that's it. That's it. Big up Tom Little on the right wing. Apart from that, what do I have? What do I have? So listen,
But I
we
have a
can't
question for you then, because
go on.
like you say, they're doing all this to sell. Okay, I know that they have selling the club in their mind, right? What happened?
The Kurdish. It was before about to drop a balloons defense line, and Hussam interrupted. I was gonna drop a balloons defense line.
The thing is, you say they want to sell. I walked into a space and they didn't see me there. They didn't start talking about Liverpool, nothing. It was a space filled with Qatari officials. Official Qatari people, blue ticks, not the guys we were speaking to about the Qatari takeover, like actual official people. And they were talking about Qatar's takeover of Manchester United. And the guys said publicly on that space, we don't say this publicly so the Man United fans don't get upset. They were saying it in Arabic that they're not first choice, but we really did go after Liverpool first. But FSG only wanted to sell a small minority of the football club. Now I'm sat here going like, if you're doing all this by wanting to sell eventually, why didn't you just say yes to Qatar? So we'd have just sold the club and got it done with.
I don't think it's people realize having Liverpool Football Club in your portfolio does for your business. Sam, this is a massive reason why. So you have the sensible side where we talk about the academy and the money invest and all these things. I then have the emotional side as a fan, and this is my biggest issue as a fan. It's why can't Liverpool Football Club compete for the biggest names? All these things, right? And actually, it's because of this. It's because of the continuous greed. And I always say, whoever owns Liverpool, in all their list of assets, Liverpool should be number one, Hussam. That should be
Always.
prioritized above everything, right? We are the biggest sporting institution in the UK. Maybe United are more bigger than us. That's the here or there, right? So when you say to me, oh, why don't they sell? It's because of that reason, Hussam. Having Liverpool on their portfolio is incredible. They own Liverpool Football Club. That's fucking massive. But you know what the problem is? They don't prioritize Liverpool Football Club. It's not their number one asset. And that is a disgrace. Not because I expect my team to be this. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you, that's just how we are. We are the biggest sporting institution in the UK. I'm sorry I'm not Watford. I'm sorry I'm not Everton. I'm sorry that I'm not fucking Man City. I'm sorry that I'm not Tottenham. I'm Liverpool. I am the biggest sporting institution in the UK.
It's funny
And
they say go support City. We need to tell them
yeah,
go
yeah,
support Everton. That's what we
yeah,
need
yeah.
to do.
And do you know what? I'm the biggest sporting institution in the UK. Fucking treat me like it if you own me. Don't have me as your second asset. Don't just have me as a shiny asset to show off to other business and say, oh, look, I own Liverpool, when you want to take a big loan and invest in golf or invest in fucking ice hockey. No, you own me, you prioritize me. It is
Did you
still
see
the
that as well? They bought some golf thing.
Of course they did. They're
So
businessmen.
pathetic. It's so
What?
pathetic.
No,
Wallahi.
but why would I be angry at them? Hussam, I said this the other day. The more I spend time and speak to top reds or FSG in, I'm realizing the root cause isn't FSG, is the
Fan base.
enablers, is the enablers. Because here's the thing, Hussam. Here's the
Mhm.
plant that I always talk about. It's got all the branches. You've got Klopp as a problem. You've got players as a problem. And I've got the root cause, Hussam. Here it is. Everyone can see it. But then I've got all the people around the village looking at the plant. And instead of saying, oh, let's go fix the root cause, I've got some of them saying, let's fix the root cause. And then I've got some of them saying, oh, no, but the root cause is got beneficial for the end. Let's keep watering the plants. And you keep seeing problems, but nobody's actually addressing it. There isn't anybody in the village to just go, let me pull out the plant. Let me just pull out the plant. If I pull it out from the root and fix it, no. Instead, you've got a bunch of villagers who are going FSG out, and then you've got a bunch going, oh, they look crazy, they look crazy. And the FSG out and the villagers usually get quoting a philosophical tweet saying, people who are crazy are usually correct, because we are. We sound crazy saying FSG out, but we are correct because we can understand what the market is, and we can understand that FSG themselves have gone for an external resource, you see. But this is the thing, I can look at the root cause, but when a whole village can see the problem, but that none of them are actually pulling it out, they're fighting amongst themselves, that's not the problem anymore. The village is the problem. The
Yeah.
citizens are the problem. They're the enablers. They are the enablers.
Even this summer, by the way, I took it a step further. I always told the people, and first of all, let me, because there's one comment that just pissed me off. Morton, don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. You think if you're going to East Asia, anyone knows who the fuck the Boston Red Sox are? If you go to anywhere in South America, they know who the Boston Red Sox are. Football, just as a sport, is so much bigger than baseball. So much bigger than baseball that they probably know Watford more than they do the Red Sox. Like, stop it, please. Like, where is baseball big? US, Japan, and maybe 3-4 countries. Like, I don't know what the hell we're doing here. You know what it is with this whole thing? It's gotten to the stage now where I told the people, guys, forget we even signed McAllister. I came out here and I said a crazy statement that when you first think about it, you're gonna go like, this guy's crazy. But just think about it for 5 seconds more, and you'd be like, this guy's spitting. Even if we didn't sign McAllister and we didn't sign Szoboszlai, the same crowd still wouldn't moan, still wouldn't complain,
No, they'd say this.
still wouldn't say anything.
There's still 6 weeks left of the window. That's what they'll say.
What? Hey, you know what I always tell them? We know the test, we know the answers. When you complain before the window starts, they're like, the window hasn't opened yet. Why are you complaining already? When you complain during the window, they're like, wait until the end window closes and then moan. How are you moaning already? When the window closes and you complain, they're like, oh, the window's closed. There's nothing we can do now. You can't fool me. I already know your responses. Every single time I know the responses. I'm going to complain during. I'm going to complain after. I'm going to complain before. I'm going to complain if there's any other time thing that I can add. I'm going to complain wherever. Like, I'm going to complain. I'm FSG Out in my dreams, bro. Like, just let me not even go there, bro. Vagabond says, but Hussam and Kurdish, FSG doesn't decide which player to buy. FSG does not run the club on a day-to-day basis. FSG doesn't decide who to sell or buy.
I agree. But
Kurdish,
FSG do allocate the funds, and it's FSG that say we have this much, so you have to make the most out of it. And the problem you have is this much that they give you isn't enough, respectfully. And listen. Let me tell you, right? Liverpool's have signed 2 midfielders, and we're all happy. Liverpool probably have, with these 2 midfielders, the 4th best midfield in the Premier League. Like, what are we doing here? If Chelsea sign Caicedo, they're going to have a midfield of Enzo, Caicedo, and Nkunku. Just deep that compared to your midfield. Your midfield is full of bags of potential, but Caicedo is ready. Enzo's already had 6 months in the Premier League. He's ready. Nkunku's the early gamble, Hussam. You've got 2 gambles in yours. You've got 3, and that's hoping Fabinho fans form. So we listen. I understand FSG don't run it, but here's the thing. In any business in this world, when things go tits up and things go wrong and everything happens, who is held accountable? The owner is held accountable. If it's not the owner, it's the CEO. If it's not the CEO, it's the director. Management is never held accountable if you actually analyze it, especially when things go wrong right from the top. And that's what we're talking about. So things have gone wrong from the top because of negligence. I understand that Klopp and I understand all these other things have been issues. However, they have been issues because of the main thing.
Vagabond, simple question. If John W. Henry calls Klopp tomorrow and tells him, I'm going to give you 200 million to spend, is he going to refuse it? No. So that's my thing. I'm all for giving accountability. If you want to give accountability to Klopp for hugging people too much, and he's the reason why maybe Firmino left on a free, he's the reason why Milner left on a free, all of this, no problem. I've got no problem with that. But let's give accountability to people to things they deserve to hold accountability on. Let's not give Klopp accountability for the budget. That's just wild. Vagabond. But I would say thank you for the super chat as per usual. I'm always open for discussions. Ash says, this is so triggering. Thoughts on Neil Atkinson or Anfield Rap saying he would give up the rap and shut it down if he got taken by Qatar? That's what we're up against. That's crazy, Ash. And let me tell you why that's crazy. And I don't want to get too political because sometimes I'm crazy because I am Middle Eastern. So I have that crazy switch that Kurdish knows that if I hit switch, wallahi, they would deplatform me on this entire thing. You know what it is, Mr. Ash? It's funny how we're described as fake fans. Yet, if we get a different owner, they'd stop supporting the football club. You know what I don't understand? This is what I don't understand. When Qataris took over Paris Saint-Germain, did they change the rules of France? Why do people act like if Qatar took over Liverpool Football Club, like Liverpool would turn into Doha? That's what I don't get. Brother, they are buying Liverpool Football Club, the institution. That's who they're buying. They're buying us as an institution. And furthermore, he's a Liverpool fan with FSG, and he's pro-FSG. Isn't that a bigger problem than if Qatar buys? Because let me tell you tomorrow what happens if Qatar buys. They improve infrastructure around Anfield, therefore helping locals. They improve any infrastructure that we need improving. They put their own money into the football club. We will never have a problem in any transfer window, and they will ensure and make sure that we are at the top of football. That's what would have happened if Qatar took over Liverpool Football Club. But what's their problem? Qatar and the UK have differing laws. Who would have known? Breaking news. Country in the Middle East thinks differently to country in Western Europe. You want to hear the truth? Football lost its soul a long time ago. A long time ago, the soul was lost out of football. Do you think there's any soul left in football? If you want soul left in
Sam,
football,
you don't even
go
need to go
support
that
a
deep.
League Two club. There's no more soul left in football anyway. So you know what we're saying? We're saying since there is no soul left in football, let's actually go get people who actually give a f about my football club, and let's spend money on this football club, and let's take ourselves to the mountaintop.
Sam, it's not that deep. It's really not. What it is it's as basic as this, right? It's me as a human. I understand that whatever my club does is gone against my socialist values because that's what Liverpool are. So the moment you start defending FSG, you understand, okay, I'm no longer defending the values of the club. So when somebody like Neil Atkinson comes out and says, I don't want to be taken out by Qatar and I want to be taken out about, FSG, this isn't, you're not defending the club's values, you're defending your own personal values. Does that make sense? So Neil
Yes.
Atkinson at the moment couldn't give a shit about Liverpool's values. Let me tell you why. Because Liverpool is a socialist club. As I've said this so many times, if you know basic politics, I'm talking GCSE level politics, A level politics, what you learn at 15, 16. Socialist is on this end, Hussam. Socialist is here. Venture capitalist, I can't even stretch my hands. It's the furthest thing you can be away from
180
socialism.
degrees opposite.
Bro, I can't. So the moment you start defending venture capitalists, that's not you defending the club's values. You are defending what's personal to you. So this is where I ask the question, Neil Atkinson, why is your personal morals more important than someone who lives in the Middle East and what they believe in? I'm not going to say any labels. I'm not going to say anything. But this isn't about the club's values, because the moment you defend FSGs, the moment you throw away the club's values. This is about your personal values, and that's okay. I'm not here judging you by your personal values. You're here judging the Middle East by their values. So why is it, as a human, your values mean more or are more correct than people in the Middle East? That's what we want to know. So if you could explain that a little bit further, I'd love to read your article. Not that I do. Can somebody send it me, please? Because I don't waste my time on that shit.
And furthermore, you know what's crazy? Me and Kurdish are both Middle Eastern men. Let's not say anything political because I don't want to get demonetized. But go read up on AXA, go read up on Standard Chartered. You know what's the difference between me and Kurdish? We support this. We support the badge on the
Absolutely.
shirt. This is who we support.
Absolutely.
I support Liverpool Football Club. I can push to the side these things. I call them out, but I don't make it the like encompassing, all-encompassing idea of Liverpool Football Club. I speak about it, I speak against it. I show the light on it so we can have a conversation and we can go like, okay, these owners ain't really making their money selling rap CDs. But at the same time, I come here and I go like, I support Liverpool Football Club. I don't support AXA. I don't support Standard Chartered. I don't support anyone. I support the club, the football club, the 11 players on the pitch. So this is what I mean when people always go over the top of these conversations. And by the way, if he says he's going to stop supporting Liverpool if Qatar take over, he ain't a real Liverpool fan. They claim people like me and Kurdish ain't real Liverpool fans. You're not a real Liverpool fan because you can't separate ownership from supporter. So let's assume, for the sake of argument, okay, let's use two countries that have a problem, Russia and the US. So a Russian Liverpool supporter who's going to go like, I don't support Liverpool anymore because I hate Americans and FSG own us. That's not a real Liverpool fan. So you're doing the same thing.
And do you know what it is as well? Again, I want to take away all the emotional side of it. It's anyone with a common sense, whether you agree with it or not, understands how football's going, understands that most clubs are going state way, the top clubs, and just accepting that and not thinking my ego is more important and I'm going to try and change football on the whole because I personally disagree with it, I'll probably by accepting it, I'll put my club first and my club's going to win a lot of trophies. But no, what Neil Atkinson wants to do is say, no, no, no. My ego and my own morals are so important and so correct and politically correct above everyone else, a whole part of the world who's got more people than the whole of UK. But mine are more important. I'm going to stop supporting Liverpool. You don't care about the club, man. You care about your ego. You just want to blow your own ego and feel correct within yourself. We all understand that football's gone the wrong way. I know that. Sam knows that. A 5-year-old child can tell you the money in football is crazy. But my ego isn't big enough to say, let me go fight this and try and change this. No, my ego says, do you know what? You disagree with it, but actually, now it's time to put the club first and accept that. I have to accept that because I want to see this club win. The club is more important than my ego and trying to be proven correct that I can do it the right way. Because you know what, Hussam, we haven't proved shit. You can say we've won everything, but the team across the pond have won 4 fucking Premier Leagues in the meantime. They've just won their first fucking quad. In my whole history, I've not seen a quad. So let's not pretend that we can do it because we've done it once. Like, let's just stop trying to change the world all the time, accept things for what they are, and then think, how can we adapt ourselves to the situation? I don't understand why there's this thing with the fan base where we want to change the world and adapt football to suit our situation. It's always like, oh, but FSG were hoping that the FFP rules would change things. It's like, okay, they didn't. Can we stop trying to change the world to suit us? Because that's not going to happen. People don't care about just us. So what we need to do is
And
understand.
isn't socialism anyway about you against the institution by
It's
definition?
all the time, all the
So
time. Like,
why is socialism now become us supporting the institution? It's something I don't get. And by
it's
the way, if Neil Atkinson wants to delete the Anfield rap,
fucking
good,
do it. Do it.
good. That's one less top red, you know what channel we've got to worry about. Oh,
I,
if he deletes his channel, I do a celebration
I
stream. I'd be
honestly don't know the difference between him and Paul Gerst. I don't even know which one's which. I know one wears glasses and one doesn't, but I don't know which one's
Paul
which.
Gars, honestly. Just
I
my biggest
don't know.
problem is James Pearce. Just give me 5 minutes with James Pearce, and he'll make sure he never tweet FSG out prop ever
I'm
again.
Ian Doyle. Where is he?
It's not for other 20 million. Diaz 40 M's, Nunes 65 M's, Fabio Pearce Ramsey, Gakpo, McAllister, Dominic. We got 60 million back from Mane, Nico, Taki, released 11 players of the wages. No, I know that selection made up the number, but selection can be fugazi like that. I can't lie. Selection is fugazi. You
Big
want
up
to know how you know
selection,
selection is
man.
fugazi sometimes? Because selection is Tom Little FC. Tom Little's fugazi, selection's fugazi. You want to hear the most fugazi take, Mr. Sinclair? Today, Tom Little said he would take Alvaro Morata at Liverpool. Let me tell you what that did on Twitter. That made me and Ben, SMX LFC, agree that he deserves to get cooked. That tells you all you need to know. And Mr. Sinclair comes back with another super chat. Big up to you, Sinclair. Big up to all the Australians watching us as well. Joe as well earlier on. Morning boys from Australia. Keep the fight. Growing up in Dubai, my dad said, son, you have full control of these 5 dirhams. Go buy what you want. Oh my God, growing up with 5 dirhams, you could get so much. Knowing the shop says all the items are over 10 to 20 dirhams.
Big up, man.
Hey, and you know what's crazy? There's people who want me, Mr. Sinclair, to blame you instead of blaming your dad for giving you 5 dirhams. Where is the rest of the money, Habibi?
I like that. That was nice. That was very
That's
good.
why people, when they blame Klopp. Listen, me and Kurdish have even disagreed on Klopp because I feel like Kurdish maybe just exonerates him of all crimes. I blame Klopp for certain things, but like it's even this summer. You know what made me this summer go like, fuck even talking about Klopp? I'll tell you what. He wanted Bellingham. He didn't get him. We know for a fact he loves Caicedo and Chouameni and these guys. He ain't getting any.
Barella, you didn't get anything.
Barella, exactly. So okay, now we're getting a McAllister and a Szoboszlai, and you're telling me I can't even finish that rebuild. I can't even finish the
That's
fucking
the crazy.
Moneyball rebuild.
Oh, Sam, that's fucking crazy. Think about
Like,
it. We can't even go in the ready-made market and we still can't finish a rebuild. That's fucking wild, bro.
Imagine we had to do a ready-made rebuild. What would happen to us?
We can't.
Me and you both know for a fact Klopp likes Chouameni. We know Chouameni ain't gonna get game time at Real Madrid. Why don't we go buy him? Are you telling me Klopp doesn't want the guy he likes? We need a DM, right? If I call Jurgen Klopp tomorrow and I go like, you've got a blank checkbook, sign whoever DM you want in the world, you think he's choosing Lavia or Chouamani? Are you
Of course
mad?
he's not. Of course he's fucking not.
Are you dumb? Mr. Tickler, this is such a perfect analogy of a super chat because I can't give you 5 dirham and then blame you because the shop is expensive. It's insane. Anyway, final topic because I don't want to keep Kurdish for too long. Big up to everyone who's watching us. There's still 450 people watching us right now. Big up to you guys, man. Big up to Mr. Sinclair. Big up to Ash. Big up to Vagabond, Mr. Sinclair. Your dad should give you more money. Big up to Selection, Qusay, Joe, Gary, Winter, and Payrad for the super chats. Big up to you guys. Big up to every single person who sends any super chat. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing. We're approaching 200 likes. Just heading into 200 likes. Literally 5 likes away. So please do slap the like button. Do subscribe to the channel. Continue to share the video everywhere. Continue to show the channel all the love and support that you guys have always showed us. So share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now, Kurdish, the final topic. You know, we had 2 this season over the Anfield. FSG out, Klopp in, enough is enough. And that picture, by the way, is being used on Twitter so many times. And every time I see it, I feel so proud from inside. Like I was actually a part of this. Let me tell you how much people have had enough of FSG. I'm gonna give you guys behind the scenes. I was outside that day. And me and Kurdish, he's like, are you free? I need to speak to you. I'm like, okay, let's go on then. And I'm like, yalla, call me. And I call him. And he's like, so when should we plan this for? The Arsenal game? Like, which game should we plan this for? Because he was thinking in his head, like, shit, we might need 2-3 weeks to raise this money. Kurdish put on the GoFundMe. And within 4 hours, we'd raised enough money for the FSG out plane to fly over Anfield. 4 hours. That's how much people have had it up to here with this ownership group. 4 hours was all it took. 4 hours. FSG out, Klopp in, enough is enough. What was written on the other plane? Because the first one always remains stuck in my head. What was written on the other one?
One link is all it took. Possibilities. The second one, what did it say? Red Sox, LFC Red Sox, Penguins, same problems, FSG out.
Yep. Just a PR attack from all angles. Yeah. And so, Kurdish, talk to me about the kind of the plane scene heading into next season.
Hey.
Transfer market selection, just so you know, gets a lot wrong. And sometimes, just so you know, sorry, Kurdish, just so you know, many times they put the current value of the player. That's something you need to be careful about. Sometimes they put the current value of the player. So if Naby Keita is looked at as a 30 million pound player now, that might change in terms of like, you know, ingoing, outgoing, blah, blah, blah. So like transfer market ain't always accurate. Go on, Kurdish.
So I don't know if you've seen, I've took up drone flying recently as a hobby. I share some on Twitter. So, and I'm now these days an avid scuba diver. So the reason I took up these 2 hobbies almost a year ago now, well, scuba about a year ago and drones recently is because I could be as high as in the sky. John Henry could be as high as he wants, or he could be as low as he needs and deep as he needs. I will be there. I will be on his neck in the sky, and I will be on his neck deep in the water with the fishes. That's the reason I learned to snorkel and scuba dive. I hate the water, Hussam. Underwater terrifies me, but I swim with fishes every day in the hope that I see John Henry down there one day. And then I will make sure he doesn't come back up from that ocean. But that's a different conversation. No, I'm joking. I'm not promoting murder.
Chill out, bro.
I'm not promoting that. I'm joking. But yeah, so on the plane side of things, for me, as I said, I'd personally like to go in first game of the season at home. For me, it's because of the fact that no matter what happens,
home game of the season. Who are we playing? I know our first game is Chelsea away. Shit. Let me check.
Isn't it Bournemouth?
Ain't it like some shit club?
I thought it was Bournemouth. No. Yeah, Liverpool.
It's like a
Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth.
Right.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Oh, so, I hope John Henry attends the Bournemouth game.
Yeah, he loves the Bournemouth game, doesn't he?
Mr. John, attend back Bournemouth. تعال حبيبي يلا يلا.
Hey, big up Cameron in the comment section. I am moving like Shannon Briggs. Let's go, champ, wherever he is. If he's high, there's a reason I'm flying a drone. If he's low, there's a
I
reason
have
I'm
no
rolling
idea
on
who
my
that is,
scuba.
but big up to him.
Yeah, he's a boxer. He's a boxer. But yeah. So I'm looking at Bournemouth. Ideally, look, it depends what you know me, Hussam. I'm a man of the people. You know that. So if the people have an appetite for first game of the season, that would make sense to me because it would show actually whatever you do, I'm not happy now. I'm not going to settle here. I need to see you bring in, hey, I feel like Mr. Burns of The Simpsons, you know.
Fully, man.
So it's either going to be for me first game of the season, or we'll see how it develops. But I don't want to stop. I need to see two more midfielders come in, a centre back if that's the need, and then I need to
Should
get
we
another
fly over Stamford Bridge?
away from home in London. In
That could be
London,
an idea as well, you know.
it's just you promised me Enzo and Caicedo with Jude. Two of them are here.
Did you see that graphic? Jude, Enzo, and
Do you
Caicedo in
remember? Do you
Liverpool
remember
shirt.
that? And then
We actually
Chelsea
went
again,
0
two
from
of
3.
them.
That's
Chelsea
crazy. We
again,
went 0
yeah.
from
We went 0 for 3. And it's do you know why we went for 0-3? All three are above the 60, 70 million market, which is crazy.
3. But then, Curtis, what I told you earlier. Why can't we finish the 60, 70 million pound market type? Okay, if you're doing,
Can't
listen, if
even
you're
do
going to
that.
do the 50 million pound thing, okay, go buy Lavia then. What are we waiting for? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like,
I thought. Do you know, I was moaning about the cheap signings. I was saying I need quality
yes.
ready-made. I then thought, okay, do you know what? I'll accept the rebuild because it's a rebuild. But in my head, I thought at least it will be done by pre-season. They're all 40, 50 million signings. Sam. I thought they'll be done by pre-season.
Oh, God.
We're really, it's really interesting to see what happens because there's a big part of me that thinks we are really off, and then there's the hopeful part of me and the Klopp. I believe in Klopp so much that I think, can we actually win it next year? And then I look at the squad again and I just think, we're so far away. We're so far away.
So far,
Yeah.
so close, yet so far. So for the plane thing, just so kind of people understand where we're coming from, and I always explain it, but I want you to explain it now because people always come credit me because I'm the public asshole. So like people are, oh my god, I'm like, guys, it's Kardash's idea, and great people, me and others from Twitter, we contributed, we got it all together, and we helped fly the plane. But it's Kardash's idea, so everyone need to chill out on this whole fuck Hussam thing we're doing.
Fuck
Sometimes it's
Kurdish. Fuck
yeah, sometimes
Kurdish.
it's not Kurdish. Like it's the why is it always me? You know what it is? It's like that one like cousin in the family who's always like onto trouble, and you and your entire cousins just get in trouble for doing some dumb shit, and they blame him, even though it wasn't his fault. It's some other asshole who planned it. But it's always like it's me. People are coming to me like, "Oh my god, that done."
But
You know,
Hussam, it's me and you.
my
It
brother
is
sent me a
always me
tweet.
and you.
My brother sent me a tweet, okay? He doesn't even like support Liverpool, doesn't knows nothing about football. He's like, why is this guy saying Don Hussam's about to fly a plane over the Albert Dock? Because there's a yacht in like what? Like how am I getting blamed for this? Like it's just so anyway, so to all the people who say go like Kurdish, what's the point of this plane if it won't get the owners out? What do you say? Because I feel like I just want you to explain that before we wrap up.
My guy, I'm 30 years old soon. I know a plane isn't going to get them out. Like there isn't there isn't any part of me when this whole thing happened where any part of me thought, oh, FSG, this will move them. No, but it does do a few things. It makes them wake up a little bit. I don't know if people remember the day after they came out and told us there's investment close. It's been 3, 4 months and I've seen no investment. So it makes them a little bit worried more than anything. It gives a voice to a large portion of this fan base who are continuously silenced. I don't think I'm a hero. I don't put myself as the people, the voice of the people. But there is a real divide in this fan base. And whether we like it or not, the big channels does not represent a good portion of the fan base. You can say to me they present all of Liverpool. Great. I can say to you we present all of the Middle East. Guess
All
who
of the
I
rest
prefer? There
to
you go.
invest.
No, but I'm the one who's doing the majority now, right? So then there's that also. So it's about representing the voice of the voiceless who don't get a say, who big up, bro, who don't get a say and who are continuously pushed back and labeled things like bedwetters and then FIFA virgins by
And
people who
then we
think
went
they.
and signed two FIFA players. That's what I don't
Yeah,
understand. If
it's
I
like
started FIFA career mode, I'd sign those two. Like it's such a
Dominic is my
FIFA
number
thing.
one. So there's that, and then the third thing, it's about, okay, it may not hit them directly, but I promise you, third plane, fourth plane, maybe it's the fifth plane. One of their sponsors is just going to knock on and say, "What's happening here, John? John, this isn't good for my brand." And I promise you that makes some Quakers boots. And do you know what? Do you know what? The most it might do is make him go, "Do you know what? I will do that rebuild. Do you know what? We've never got a loan, but we'll get a loan because we understand the fans are now angry and the sponsors are seeing things." I'm not saying our plane did that, Hussam. I'm not saying our plane did that, but it could make a 2% percentage difference. And if I've made that 2% difference, have done more than half the fucking fan base that sit there and clap these fuckers. And I'm taking my 2%. I could even make 0.5%. I've still done more than you fucking have. And that's what the plane is about. It's not about making them go out, you know. Um, hey, big up G, my brother,
Gee, come join the light, man. Come join the light, man.
man. But yeah, man, I listen. I get a lot of stick. The last few sort of days I've got a lot of stick, so I changed my replies on Twitter. Because top Reds were really on my neck because they seem to have found their voice again because we
Mm.
signed Dominic and McAllister. But as I say, there seems to be a thing with this fan base where we praise the bare minimum that's expected. The thing that we should expect, the absolute bare minimum, it seems to get praised, and I find it very strange. I don't know, listen, I know I'm a half glass full person.
Doing the bare minimum. Oh, that's why half this fan base want Henderson to stay. That's crazy.
It's do you know what it is? I'm a half glass full person. I struggle to see the light, the positive side of things. I'm more realistic with life. And do you know what? One fact remains that will still remain whether we like it or not. They've had to go against everything they stand for and go to a third party for investment. If that doesn't say scream to you that them saying we can't do this anymore, there's, we what's the point? What's the whole point of this? What's the whole purpose? Why
I
did God
think,
give
by the
you?
way, people like me and you, like you see people like me and Kurdish who are like at the forefront of the FSG out thing. Me and him, there is a world in which we're willing to transform to FSGN, by the way. If Fenway Sports Group give us sustainable spending for the next 3 years and give us ambition and they show us that they want to continue to keep this club at the mountaintop, then we will turn. We will go like FSG are doing a good job. My thing is with the opposition is they'll never turn. And I went as far as saying, even if we sign just McAllister, their response would simply be, weren't you moaning all year long about a midfielder? We signed the midfielder. Why are you moaning now? Or some
No,
people just want to moan. We signed the World Cup winner. Like I'm telling you guys, it's gotten to a stage where honestly, me and Courage tell you right now, we already know the questions, we already know the answers because it's just repetitive. It's the same
100%,
shit. It's the same
100%.
shit.
And
Nothing's
then
changed.
it's it's interesting. I opened dialogue with one of them recently, and they said to me, I like FSG because they understand the values. And I said, how can they if they're socialist, if we're socialist and they're capitalist? And the guy said to me, can I ask you what socialist and capitalist means? And I thought, you don't even know what you're talking about. You've just seen a few people that are on your side and you've heard them say this because you don't even know what socialist values are. You don't even know what socialism means. It's like, I don't want to take the piss out of you, but I have to now because you've made me take the piss out of you because you've come into my DM to try and belittle me because I'm telling you about the club. And when I'm trying to give you basic sociology, it just goes over your head. And you want to sit there and talk to me about socialism values. You're a dickhead. Sorry.
Weirdos, man.
Sorry.
Weirdos. Anyway, I don't want to keep my
Okay.
brother Kurdish for a long time because this is Saturday night. I want the guy to go have fun with this Saturday. Before I do that, there's 400 people here. We're gonna put out the super chats now up in a second. Make sure you're all slapping the likes. Make sure you're all subscribing. Kind of this is a massive show, Kurdish. So the
Hey, big
superstar
up the
Kurdish,
people,
man.
man. Big up
Please,
the people, man. Big up the
we have
people.
the people. Vagabond says, will you be doing a live preseason game? Vagabond, yes, inshallah. I think we start our preseason against Karl Schruha. So I'm going to start that that name is gonna be hell to pronounce for me all stream long, but you know we're gonna have to do it inshallah. So my brother's actually going back on that day, so I'll see how I feel, but most likely I will do it, inshallah. We will see. Big up to you, Vagabond, man. Listen, I promise you guys, I'm going to keep you guys entertained throughout the summer. You guys got nothing to do, and I'm giving you at least most of the days 2 videos. So we're here giving you continuous content. So continue to like, subscribe, share,
Sam,
all
can
that
I
good
just
stuff.
answer that? Can I answer that question,
Which
please?
one?
Sorry, brother. Sorry.
Which one?
Somebody's
Tell
put
me.
name Kurdish. Name one communist or socialist party operating in the Middle East. I'll name you three: the YPG, the PKK, and the YJJ. Three Kurdish communist parties operating across Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. Bam! Politics. Don't ever come at me. I got a degree in politics for a reason.
On your head top.
On your head top.
T1 says, if you guys believe Colwill is that guy, why not drop 70 plus like you did for Virgil van Dijk? The guy is 20. I want him at Chelsea, but it looks like his head's gone. I saw that video, but you know, this is the thing that pisses off the likes of me and Kurdish even more, right? I'm gonna tell you. You know what pisses us off more? We attract the finest of the finest, yet we end up signing the middest of the middest. That's what I just like. You know, do people here like? I just want everyone to just look at themselves in the mirror and go like, Liverpool Football Club attract Kylian Mbappe. Do you know that we attract Kylian Mbappe? Do you know that Kylian Mbappe, had we been in the Champions League and put the money on the table, he'd actually look at us as well as looking at Real Madrid. You know, the likes of Arsenal and the likes of Spurs and United and all these, he wouldn't even pick up the phone. You know, we actually attract him. You know, we actually attract him. Are you guys aware? Are you guys aware that we actually attract the best of the best? Levi Colwill would leave Chelsea Football Club tomorrow to come play for Liverpool Football Club. But as you said, why not drop 70 plus? You know why we don't drop 70 plus? Because the Reds have got no money, but we'll still win the league. Remember that song?
We didn't win the league. We didn't win the league, by the way. We didn't win it.
Yeah, and 2 games into the season, they stopped singing it anyway. Big up to you, T1, man. I wish we could get Colwill over the line, but I just don't see it happening. Unless Colwill kicks up a fuss and starts creating locker room drama, just get me out of here. Big up to Mr. Sinclair says, can we hire an A380? Bigger flag, hey. Hey, Mr. Sinclair wants us to fly like, you know, like Fly Emirates or Etihad Airways. Like, my man wants a whole last plane. That is crazy. I'm not sure a regular plane is even allowed.
No,
to be
I don't think they're
close.
allowed. They're not allowed.
Yeah. They ain't even allowed to be that close to like human beings. That's wild. That's a wild idea, though. I can't lie. The problem is all the people in Anfield will feel it because, like, it's got to be the engine's going to be above them. So I don't think that'll work. So, yeah. By the way, I remember the last plane, not the first one, the second one. You could actually hear the engine on the TV. I loved every second of it. I'm like, yes. JK1892 says, explain in more detail why we are so far off. I get not jumping the gun, but I think we are in a position to challenge easily, to be honest. FSG need to do more. I think you answered your own question. We are in a position to challenge because of Klopp and the quality of the players that we have currently. When you speak to anyone, the reason why they believe in Liverpool Football Club is because of Klopp. It's because of the players we have, the world-class players, because we've got Trent, because we've got Alisson, because we've got Van Dijk, because we got Thiago, because we got Salah, because we got, half world-class Fabinho, because we got players like that. People are like, okay, we respect this club. But when you say FSG need to do more, that's exactly why we are far off, because FSG need to do more. If we sign Colwill and Lavia tomorrow, me and Kurdish will both tell you we're challenging for the league. We're probably going to win it even. I'm not even saying challenge. So, like, you wanted to do this whole Moneyball thing, do it all the way. That's all we ask for. It's not even that deep, to be honest with you. You have anything else to say on that, Kurdish? Or
listen, it's not about plugging myself in, but just rewind to about 20 minutes in this video, and when I talk about our midfield options, you'll quickly realize why I say we're not ready. But I listen. The one thing I would say is we have a manager where you believe in the impossible. That's the one thing you have to do with Klopp. He's made you believe in the impossible, so you have to.
Yes, facts. FSG out now, says Alternative FM. Hang that super chat in the Louvre, my friends, or however it's pronounced. Hang it in the Louvre, or Louvre, or I don't know how the hell it's like. Listen, French is a language I cannot speak.
In the
Yet,
love, is it the love?
Hang it in the love. Alternative FM. Let's say Elite super chat right there. Big up to you, my brother. Thank you so much, Habibi. Selection saying, drop the name of the third party who gave the loan or
Selection, you're so weird, bro, right? Because every journalist, Paul Joyce, James Pearce, all of them, when they announced Dominic, they told us it was a third party and the money has been paid up front. Nobody told us who exactly it was. So what do you want me to do? Have more news than Paul Joyce? Have more news than James Pearce? My brother, brother, Liverpool Football Club probably hate me because of how I speak about their owners. They're not going to give me any news. They're never going to give me any news. All we know by the reliable sources is that the money was paid up front and the third party was used. We still don't know whether it was a loan or an investment, but both things would indicate the same thing, that these guys had to go against their model and had to go externally to be able to fund the rebuild. That part is factual.
That's the important part, Selection.
Yeah.
How it was done or by who doesn't bother me.
My guy wants me to go give him names, like, bro.
Probably Klarna, to be fair.
Big
Big
up.
up to you, Alternative FM, man. Big up, Habibi. And finally, Torrent says, you guys expecting Prime Fabinho or Grandpa Fabinho? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm expecting in the middle. I'm expecting Uncle Fabinho. That's what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting Prime. I'm just expecting Uncle. You know, That's what I'm expecting.
Big Unks. Uncle Albert. Big
Yeah.
Unks.
Big up Uncle Albert. Uncle
Big up.
Albert is definitely Grandpa Albert, though. But big up Albert. Big up Albert, man. You know how much we love you, man. So big up to you guys. Unbelievable show. Big up to Torin, Payrad, Winter, Gary, Joe. Big up to Joe Cavalier. Big up to Qusay. Selection. Even though you're wild, big up to you. Big up to Vagabond. Thank you, my brother. Big up to Ash. Big up to best super sub by the way, Ash. Big up to Mr. Sinclair. Best analogy, Mr. Sinclair. Big up to T1. Big up to JK1892 and Alternative FM. Make sure you're all slapping the likes. Make sure you're all subscribing. We've got so much content coming your way. We're grinding our asses out this summer for you guys. So big up to you guys, man. Make sure you're slapping the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're sharing. Kurdish, superstar today. Stone Cold Steve Austin performance at the WrestleMania main event type performance. Where can people find you, Habibi?
Big up, brother. I told you when you messaged me and I said I've got a lot bottled up. And I told you, didn't I? That I've got a lot bottled and it's all ready tonight. So big up, man. Thank you for having me. And as always, as I say, subscribe to the channel, hit This Is Football. And listen, I know people may think it's because I'm on here, but forget me being on it. I told Hussam this the other day and I tweeted it. There are very few channels, even if they may be FSG Out, where they actually speak on things freely because they are so worried about protecting their future interests. I'm telling you, This Is Football is one of the very few channels in this fan base which is as straight as it is. I'm not even a regular on here, so it's not me trying to plug myself in. So subscribe to this channel, man, because this fan base needs more channels like this. As I say, a lot of the channels who even are FSG Out, they aren't speaking on it because of the moment they become big, they want them endorsements. This channel gives you the truth. It's unfiltered, it's raw. So subscribe to This Is Football, man. Like the video. You'll find me on Kurdish Ball 93, continuously pissing people off, man, because a bit of a negative Nancy, but people like that shit. And you can find me on TikTok, root cause analysis. There's a lot of snorkeling videos if you like fishes, if you like high flying drones, and if you like football, man, listen, it's what we do. It's what we do. But as always, subscribe to This Is Football. Sam, thank you for having me on, brother.
Big up Kurdish, man. Big up Kurdish. Absolute superstar. Big up to FM as well. Ash, someone told me that Klopp himself has listened to one of my rants. So, hey, it is what it is, man. Big up to you guys, man. Love you all. And we will see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. Peace out.